Good afternoon and welcome to our digital conference, day 4. Our subject now is robotics for children at the Goethe-Institut. Welcome, Andreas Leonard from Mindsinaction and Daudika Mulunduleni. May I ask to introduce yourself first?
Thank you so much, Mr. Detliev. My name is Andreas Leonard. I'm a co-founder at Mindsinaction. At Mindsinaction, we are specializing in STEAM education, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. We are teaching these disciplines as one discipline using hands-on training systems. So we do this by engaging with learners from various schools. And then we have been running the program since 2018. And one of our first classes happened first at the Goethe-Institut in Windhoek, Namibia. And currently now we have classes every Saturday at the Goethe-Institut from 10 o'clock to 12:30, which is 2 hours. And at the Goethe-Institut, we are engaging with primary learners.
Okay, thank you very much. But let's go first to Daudika Mulunduleni to introduce himself before we're going deeper into the subject.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Daudika Mulunduleni. I'm also a co-founder at Mindsinaction, and I am a STEAM education enthusiast, and I'm passionate about youth development. I'm passionate about coaching learners in terms of STEAM skills, Industry 4.0 skills, and to expose as many children as possible in Namibia is what my mission will be in this life.
Daudika, where are you coming from your educational wise? Did you study the subject, or how did you get your knowledge?
Okay, so it started in grade 8. When I was in grade 8, we used to have science fairs at our school. So Andreas and I used to participate in the science fair as partners. So my interest grew very much just by participating in the science fair at the school level. Then from the school level, we went to the regional level until the national level. So I remember in 2007, we came to Windhoek for the first time ever to come and showcase our science fair project. So in grade 12, I took science subjects, mathematics, physical science, and biology. Then I managed to be able to get an admission in the School of Engineering at the University of Cape Town to study mechatronics engineering. So that is how I got to level up my skills in terms of engineering. And after completing the university, I actually worked as a consultant engineer, and I also worked as a research and robotics engineer at the University of Namibia Science and Technology. And then it was only in 2018 when Andreas and I came together to establish Mindsinaction. Yes, that's my background. Okay.
Thank you very much. So you're both coming from a long way from school.
Yes.
So, and after the school at were you also till grade 12 together, Andreas, with at the same school, or
yes,
how was your way on then?
We were in the same class and in the same school, so from grade 8 to grade 12. And then for me, I went I registered at NAST for information communication technology. And then in that, I managed to work in some various institutions. Like, for example, one of my jobs was at in the Ministry of International Relations. And then I also worked with the Office of the Auditor General. And then I went to the private sector to practice auditing with Ernst & Young. And my last job was with the Ministry of Health before we started now Mindsinaction with my colleague Daudika.
Okay, so meaning you're working more in the administration part, or what is your position in the company? Are you the director, or what? How do you call it?
In my previous jobs, I have been working in the ICT division.
Mm-hmm.
I had several positions in the ICT division, and now here at Minds in Action, I'm a chief operations officer and also a head coach.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and your position, Dadika, is what exactly?
Okay, so my position is the Chief Executive Officer at Minds in Action. And that is more to do with the business itself, coming up with a business strategy and together with Andreas making the decisions that will enable the operations to go on smoothly, and also to be able to source funding for the business to be able to come from a startup to be able to scale and be able to be on its own. And I also, I'm very much involved in the content development of the courses, as well as the coaching of the training of the coaches. So we take graduate students from the local universities who are in science and mathematics subjects to be trained to become coaches for the learners in the robotics.
Okay, so yeah, then maybe tell me a little bit more what you're doing exactly, or what the robotics, what it is about. Is there something you have prepared for us, and you can share with us?
Yes, it would be very good, like to be able to understand that there is, in the world that we are living, there is technological advancements. Every time technology is advancing. So if we are talking about the fourth industrial revolution, for example, if we go to industry 1.0, so the fourth industrial revolution actually just a metric whereby they are measuring the technological progression in the world. So in industry 1.0, it's when the world was more relying on the steam engine for production. So at that time, Namibia was far behind in terms of manufacturing, but in the world, the manufacturing industry was setting up, and you find that locomotives were running on steam engines. So in industry 2.0 is when now there was electricity started to be powering the machinery, and no steam was kind of phasing out. And in industry 3.0 is when we had now the electrical machines are now automated. So production was much faster. The way of producing was much requiring much more skilled workers. And in the fourth industrial revolution now is when we are having the internet, which can be able to connect different systems. We call them cyber physical systems that can be able to you can be able to actually automate a machine and produce with minimum involvement of humans. And these technological advancements don't stop there. Like there is always something new. There is in terms of telecommunications, in terms of electronics, it's automation, it's water technology, renewable energies. All these industries are changing. But then now the question is, how can Namibia as a country be able to benefit from these technological advancements that are available globally? And one of the bottlenecks that African countries cannot be able to reap much fruits from these opportunities is because there is lack of skills. So the people are lacking the skills to understand the technology, so they remain consumers and they barely make anything that they themselves consume. It has to come from elsewhere because they don't have the necessary skills to be able to identify their problems, understand their problems, and come up with solutions that are suitable for them. So The idea is to say that we want to expose children while they are still young. That's why we get children from the age of 6, and we want to expose them. We want to train them in Industry 4.0 skills. So we would like to change the approach in how we teach and how we train these children. So instead of having a teacher standing and explaining the concepts to these children, they're actually given tasks that in themselves, when the learner is trying to solve this task using hands-on training systems, using hands-on components that they are touching, they are putting together, they are figuring out these kind of things. So we have discovered that it's an easier way of learning Industry 4.0 skills. And this, I'm glad that you have asked us about our backgrounds, is to say that we have come to an understanding that hands-on learning is superior because we have experienced the same thing. So when I went for the university, for example, I came from Mushpandeka High School, not so much exposed because we had a computer lab there, but it was mostly closed, it was not used. So we were not exposed to this kind of skills. So when I go to university, I found myself in a situation whereby I felt there was a gap in terms of the skills that I have from high school and those that I have to be able to be competent in the university for me to be able to complete my course. So, and then I got to realize that the more I go to the labs to practice these skills, the more I actually got to understand. Because, for example, in physical science, you can be able to be taught what is a resistor, what is resistance. But because you have never actually seen a resistor or you have never seen a transistor, you have never seen this component that you are being taught in the textbook, it makes it very difficult for you to be able to grasp that content. And this is a problem not only specific to myself, but it's a problem that is in our national curriculum, because these skills are learned on the theoretical basis in the curriculum, just that the children never get the chance to practice these skills and fully grasp them.
So how do you bring this knowledge to the children? Actually, they are from, I think, from 7, 8 years old, no?
Yes. Yeah. So we use hands-on learning systems that are tailored, and the content is tailored for that specific age group. Mm-hmm. So you take a very hard concept and bring it down to a level of a child who is probably 6 years old, can be able to understand and grasp that concept because it has been brought down to their level. And this is what I'm referring to when I'm talking about content development. So at Mindsinaction, we are very much involved in content development, always developing new content to make these skills, to make this knowledge accessible by young children and understandable by them.
Okay. In addition to that, we are also noticing that because of the many disciplines that we are teaching at once, learners are able to be exposed to different types of careers, and which makes them to find themselves, what they like, and also to say what type of careers they can engage themselves in. So within this type of teaching, the learners can be able to notice, oh, maybe I like constructing, or maybe I like computer programming, or maybe I'm more of a designer. So they will be exposed to many careers, like careers in electrical engineering, careers in computer engineering, mechatronics, and this makes it easy, especially like for us when we were growing up, as my colleague said, that we were not so exposed. It was difficult for us to choose careers, and we actually didn't understand the careers that we are applying for. We found ourselves applying for careers because of circumstances, maybe because your neighbors work in a specific company, and then you say, oh, I want to be like my neighbor because they drive nice cars or they have a nice house. But is that really my interest? So within this program, learners can be able to find what they like and what type of career they can go. So we also expose them to multiple type of careers. as they work by doing.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Is there something we can share together to see how it looks like, or should I maybe just play a video that was done at the Goethe-Institut, or do you have something that would you like to share from your side?
Okay, you may go ahead and play the video that you have prepared because we have just prepared for a discussion.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So because I think it's good to see what what we are talking about.
Okay.
Let me just then share the screen. So not forgetting the sound.
Institut Namibia, in collaboration with the Minds in Action group, introduced educational activities for learners using robotics to solve problems.
The activity workshops that will run for the next 12 weeks will expose children to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They use LEGO Mindstorms EV3 robots to educate learners about the application of discipline to programming and practical problem solving. NBC News caught up with some of the children in the action.
This can help with the design and technology because usually in design and technology we write much bigger pages of writing and drawing the structure before we actually build the structure. If we were able to do this on a computer, it would be much easier to build it and program it, so we would be able to learn much more.
When I'm big, I can build things like be an engineer.
According to the founders, this type of learning for children helps them to learn faster.
The response is the hype is high. The kids are excited. They want to be in the program. The parents are also excited. So we are just looking for funding so that we kick out the program the whole country.
One of the parents that accompanied her child is happy with the program.
And I think this is something that would be great to put into schools because you can actually apply the concepts in a different way. I think they don't realize that they're actually doing complicated calculations, and if there could be a little bit more hands-on learning in schools, I think it would really benefit teachers and the students.
For this program, children will learn how to work in teams, have the opportunity to earn leadership skills, and apply their minds to critical problem solving.
So you see there is a slight gap on the sound with the picture.
Yes,
But
yes.
so yeah, did you
Thank
see
so much.
how the child was full eyes that from the child at last?
Yes.
Yeah. So another question I've got, why did you choose as target group the children? Why didn't you start with, let's say, students from university or grade 12, or is that also in your program?
Okay, that's very good, Mr. Detlef. So we, because we would like to make a difference in our community. We would like to make a change for our country. So we decided that if we would like Namibia to be an industrialized nation at some point, then we'll have to start with the younger generation, the younger children, so that they can be the ones to grasp these skills from a young age. They can be the ones to grasp the interest from the young age, so that they can grow up with these different ideas on how to be able to build their country. So what motivated us to start with children is mostly the long-term vision for our company, because our vision is to train young minds in Industry 4.0 skills. And then our vision is to be able to see a large number of creative minds in Namibia who are able to see in their communities, identify certain problems, and use technology to solve such problems or challenges. And the challenges could be a lot. Sometimes it could be housing, it could be pollution, it could be agriculture, it could be just the technologies that we use. Like if you look in different sectors in Namibia, like agriculture, for example, we import most of the food that we consume from South Africa and other neighboring countries. So we would like to see a generation of Namibians that at some point in the future who can be able to develop their industry and be able to be self-sufficient as a country. Mr. Detlef, you are on mute.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
So you started with the children from 8 years old, but now also you have some experience with youngest. What was your youngest, and what is your future to work with younger children?
I think our youngest child that we have worked with was in grade 0. Because during the holiday, we, together with the Goethe-Institut, we have managed to organize workshops for smaller children using a different type of training system, which is called DASH. With that program, we had kids who were in grade 0 until grade 3, grade 4. And in most cases, we will have like grade 4, grade 5, grade 7. But this experience with the smaller kids, we have found to say that education actually can be, it doesn't have to do with the age. Anyone can grasp the same knowledge and understand it. And also the beauty about hands-on training system is that all you have to change is how you communicate to this person. But the training system itself, it can be used by a person in grade 0. It can be used by a person in lower primary, upper primary, secondary, until university, and even industry. So our future target is also to train more university students and also to assist companies to train their employees using the same strategy.
Detlef, you're muted.
Thanks again. Because there's some, sorry, I have to unmute because there's sometimes some background here from installations for tomorrow here. But I wanted to ask, so I guess you are not the only institution or company who's working with robotic courses. There might be also some school classes they having this subject, but are you the only one, or are there other institutions that train also instructors, or are you the only one in Namibia?
Okay, I would say we are one of the first to come into the industry, but then there are some competitors. There are some new initiatives that have been started. I know of a few, and I also know that there is some schools who are actually offering the robotics course. But the difference is that for them, they are offering robotics as robotics. They are learning more of the technical skills, which is a good thing. But Minds in Action is offering STEAM education. We are incorporating science and mathematics to engineering, technology, and arts. We add the arts element for creativity. And another thing that sets us apart is that we have a continuity model, whereby after a learner finishes the first module, which is the Lego Mindstorms EV3 that other of our competitors, of other people offering the same courses have, and then we give the learners a chance to continue. So after completing level 1, there is up to 16 levels that they can still be able to complete. So far at the Goethe-Institut, we have done 3 courses. We have done the Dash robots with the youngest children. And then we do the Lego Mindstorms EV3, which is the course that is starting from grade 4 to 7 learners. And then we have also done the third module, which is Arduino. And then at the STEAM Center, we have other modules such as soldering, we have circuits design, and then mechatronics and the Raspberry Pi. So there are competitors, but they are only offering the first module, which is an advantage for us, because once you find that this kid is doing robotics, for example, at Windhoek Gymnasium, and then once they complete that first module, they come to us to continue for the second module, which is an advantage for us. Yes.
Detlef, you muted again.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not used to unmute myself. So you were talking about the Dash robot and the Lego Mind. I'm not sure if the people know exactly what we are talking about. Maybe I can just show you a 2-minute video about what Dash is.
Yes.
And share this again, and then have a look at the Dash robot, the Lego. So.
As a parent, how do you help your children develop important skills that prepare them for the future? Meet Dash and Dot. Fun, easy-to-use, interactive robots that teach kids about programming with hands-on play. Dash and Dot are ready to play right out of the box and can be programmed with our free apps for your phone or tablet. Kids start learning right away with an easy-to-follow tutorial and hundreds of preloaded missions. Dot can be programmed on its own as a quirky magic dot ball.
I'm gonna go with maybe.
Or a hot potato. Dash can do even more. He can dance, race around the house, respond to objects and sounds, and record your child's voice for a fun surprise.
Watch out, Mom, I'm coming through.
Dash and Dot will fuel your child's natural curiosity. They'll love programming new adventures for their robot sidekicks. They can play hide and seek, set up challenging courses, or go head-to-head for a thrilling race. You'll be surprised at their creativity and innovation. With lots of great add-on accessories for your Dash or Dot, there are endless ways for your child to explore and problem solve, all while having fun. Wonder Workshop robots and apps are designed to grow with your child, allowing them to apply what they've learned and expand their capabilities.
Are you serious?
Wonder Workshop, inspiring the brightest minds of tomorrow.
Okay.
So that is yeah, what yeah, I wanted to share so that we see what it is about.
Yes,
yeah.
I would just like to add a little bit on the Dash, for example. So the Dash robot is very suitable for children from grade 0 to grade 3 there. So it gives them an introduction of just computer programming, which is coding, and then it just involves giving the robot instructions. So coding is basically to give a set of instructions to the robot so that it can be able to carry out as the learner would like. So it makes the robot act as if it's smart, even if it's not smart, because it's the programmer, it's the coder who is smart. So the learner gets to actually tells the robot what to do and carry out those tasks and have the robot act as if it's intelligent. And then you can call that it's artificial intelligence, because it's not real intelligence, but the robot can be able to avoid obstacles. It can be able to react to sound, those kind of things, because the learner has programmed it to do that. So that is a very good introduction to coding, because it doesn't seem, it makes the coding seem so easy and so understandable, because the learner can see exactly what they are doing what they are coding, and the robot X's out. If it doesn't, and then they can go back to the computer and figure out what is wrong and be able to go back and forth until they figure it out the correct answer. So that is the introductory module. The second module now, the Lego robotics.
Sorry, the only thing that they need is a smartphone or a tablet. Is this correct?
Yes,
all they need.
Or a computer. So for Dash, they use a coding language called Blockly. So Blockly is it's an app containing a lot of blocks of code. And then those blocks of code would teach the learner about sequencing, to teach the learner about logic. It would teach the learner about decision making, and then they can be able to write a full program. And then the beauty of the Blockly coding language is that it makes it easier for the transition to line coding. So when the learner transitions from Blockly to line coding, it's easier because they understand the sequencing, they understand the logic, and the programming language can easily be, they can easily adapt to any programming language. Yes. So in the second module, which is the Lego, they learned now how to control motors. So if you go in an industry, for example, you go in a factory, you find that there will be, yes, okay. So they learn to control motors, like they learn to control sensors. They learn to build different types of models. They work with gears. They work with wheels, pulleys. They get to be able to calculate friction, traction. They are able to design mechanisms that can be able to pick and place stuff. And they're using the block of code, which is the Mindstorm's EV3 software, which incorporates sequencing procedures, multitasking, variables, and more.
Yeah, so that is the Lego. Okay.
So for example, if the learner knows how to control a motor, so if you go in a factory, for example, the way they are producing, it's like a lot of those machineries are being driven by motors. So the learner then gets to know how to control the motors which are in machines. In machines, you also find sensors. Sensors are able to get information from the environment and bring it into the controller, and then help the robot or the learner make decisions about different decisions. For example, if one of the sensors that they learn is the ultrasonic sensor, the ultrasonic sensor is able to detect obstacles on objects. So the learner can be able to say that, to program the robot, that if you move forward and if you see a wall, you should avoid the wall and not bump it. So when the robot is driving towards the wall, it should be able to back down, and it will seem as if the robot is smart, that it can be able to see the wall, but it's the program that is working.
Okay, very interesting subject you were touching now, to learn to make decisions. So how important is that for you in your program? What role does it play? Or maybe you have got some other examples. How the children learn to make decisions, Dean?
I think how it works is that this type of skills, it increases the learner's intuitive skills, how to behave generally in life, how to respond to problems generally in life, how to find a problem in the community and try to find a solution to it. And maybe this solution can even be as a business for that student, for example. And if it is, we will make them aware that it is, and also their parents. And then learners actually develop an interest in engineering, in mathematics, and science. Because the beauty about hands-on training is that the learner is able to see the results of what they are doing. And then in this case, it raises their interest. and then it also helps them to want to continue to the next module. So I think the learners capacity of thinking, it increases drastically, even in their own normal life.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I just want to touch on the decision question. It's when we are talking about the decisions, is to say that, like, because the learner is coding, that means they are giving instructions. So those instructions should be based on something. So depending on the challenge that they have before them, and then so they have to sometimes try and error, or sometimes they use the skills of the mathematics and the science that they have. But because they get to practice this math and science so often, they develop that memory, muscle memory, that coordination with the eyes and the brain, that they can easily solve a problem faster than if they could not have gone through the project, through the STEAM program.
And the good thing is, what I've seen, they're doing that with a lot of fun, and they like it. And sometimes they don't want to go home; they just can continue.
Yes, that is even what is exciting, and it also motivates us that the learners are enjoying what they are learning. So the skills are made in such a way that they can be able to have fun while they are learning them. You mostly find that people have a perception that for you to be able to learn engineering or software, you have to be probably a nerd who is always very grinding. Okay, it might be true, but there are easier methods of learning. There are more exciting ways of learning. And this is what the children are showing us. And this is what we are showing them, that you can be able to be learning while you are having fun. You can be able to be thinking in a team and actually feel a level of satisfaction in just solving a certain problem.
I think that is a very important aspect. But let us talk about, before we talking about the future, let's have a look a little bit at the past. So now there was March 2020, and we had a very heavy lockdown here in Namibia, and it continues also during the year and even 2021. So how did you survive this time, and how did what are some courses running, or what in which situation did you find yourself in that period of pandemic?
Okay, when the first lockdown started, it was really difficult for us because all the projects that we had to come to a halt, and we thought maybe it was just going to continue on for a few months. We found ourselves the year ending, and I would say we didn't operate in the year of 2020, especially from March, the first lockdown. And it was really difficult for us because now, firstly, we have lost some employees that we used to work with because we could no longer support them, and then we have also lost contact with some learners because some that were attending the program, they never came back when the lockdowns started. So within this whole year, we had small number of intakes, which has kept us going and rejuvenating the program. But for next year, we are hoping for the best, and that our marketing will be okay, and then that we will have a high turnout. So the effects of COVID has really affected us, and also have reduced our exposure to the general public.
Yes, but there is also a positive side when it comes to the COVID experience, because I remember when we came out of the first lockdown, we had to open, we were having about 2 lessons left at the Goethe-Institut. So when the lockdown opened, the learners came back and they were very excited, and some came up with very interesting projects, some concerning even COVID, because I remember some students came up with a sanitizer that was using some sensors to automatically sanitize the hands. So that just tells you that the learners, even when they're at home, they are thinking about different projects that they want to be working on. And that is really the purpose of the whole program, is to get the learners occupied in the kind of thinking that can build their lives, instead of like occupying with themselves with other kind of ideas that can be able to ruin their lives in some way. Because children in different communities, they spend their time on different things. It's better to align the children with what can be able to empower their lives, instead of them spending their time unwisely.
And in addition to that, it has also given us space to modify the courses nicely, and so we had enough time to like upgrade our courses and improve them. So mostly that time we were improving our business internally, and yeah, I think those are some of the positive things that came out of. And come next year, I think we'll be very ready for next year.
Just wait for next year. You mentioned just the sanitizer. I just have got my screen, which that part of the sanitizer I can show you while you were talking about, just for a few seconds. So that was just after the first heavy lockdown.
Yes.
Yeah.
He wanted to make a sanitizer where he built it from scratch and programmed it. That's him in action. So he in the other video, he's explaining his own project.
You can record yourself talking about your whole, explaining what you did.
It's a sanitizer, electronical sanitizer.
Yes, he built it himself and programmed it.
Okay.
I made a sanitizer, and it greets you when you put your hand there.
It says hello and good boy.
And I programmed it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, just I wanted to share it because you were talking about it, and I just saw it here on my screen still. My mic is on, eh? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so the children are living in the communities. They see what challenges are there. They are able to look at something that which is a problem, and come and build a prototype that could be solving such a problem. And the good thing about such kind of thinking is that if a learner grows up like that, one day they will be a great entrepreneur, because they will identify a problem that is affecting a lot of people. And then they can come up with a solution that a lot of people are willing to pay money for. And that person could be a very good entrepreneur, and they can succeed in.
Indeed, yeah. So we're running a bit out of time, but I would like to talk about with you a few minutes about your future. I mean, this year is nearly over. What are your plans for next year? What are your challenges at the Goethe-Institut, or even somewhere else in the country? Do you also give classes outside of Windhoek?
Okay, so the current challenges that we're facing are just the whole COVID-19 situation, because it's even if it looks like it's being managed, we never really know what might happen. So that is one. And then the second issue is just for us to be able to get our marketing going for the next year intake, and we think that will be okay, and we have mechanisms in place to ensure that goes smoothly. So our next year plan from my side is just to be able to be able to reach more children, be able to expose more children. We would like to increase our offering, the number of modules. We would want to add more content, and we would like to reach out to schools as well. We have engaged with a few schools in this year. Next year, we want to engage with more schools. We would like to engage with parents. We would like our stakeholders to be able to visit our center and be able to see our work here, what we are doing in Toivo Street and in Seydorf at the Minds in Action STEAM Center. And yes, regarding the work that we are doing at the Goethe-Institut, we would like to introduce the Dash robots for younger children. And we plan this to, because this year we only did it during school holidays, but there was a great interest from parents who are having children of that age. So now we are going to be able to figure out how we can be able to offer that course in the trimester as well. Maybe it could be in a weekdays or something like that. But we want to provide that service to those children who have shown interest.
Mr. Detlef is muted.
Again, still the noise next to me. Sorry, Andreas. Thank you very much, Dodika. Andreas, would you like to add something to close up as well?
Yes, just to add on to what my colleagues say, also for me, I really want to see our marketing expanding, and then so that we can reach more learners and more parents. I would like to see our intakes increase, both at the centers, like for example at the Goethe-Institut, and also here at our center. And then I would like us to, for us, we will coordinate ourselves to have more coaches for us to be able to take on the duty of coaching. And then, yeah, I think everything will be big next year.
Good. Just let us know. I mean, in Windhoek, you can go to the Goethe-Institut or to go to your center, but outside of Windhoek, is there any contact? How can people reach you if they are not in Windhoek?
Okay, we would like to establish centers in different towns, in different regions. So the idea is that our future plans is to be present in all the 14 regions. And then we will start off penetrating each region by making smart partnerships. Like in Windhoek, we have some smart partnerships, as for example, the one we have with the Goethe-Institut and with a few schools. So how we move on to a new location is by having a partner there, like a school or a community center or a library, that we can be able to work together so that we can be able to have a facility, we can be able to offer the learners from that community the skills. So far we have engaged with a school in Okahanja, as well as Walvis Bay, and we have also spoken to the Swakopmund municipality that are very interested in our services. And there has been a lot of invites from the northern part. That is the one part we didn't explore yet, but next year we are very much confident that we should at least do a few demos there and see the interest on the ground. Yes.
Okay, so if you know some, I mean, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about our listeners. If you know somebody who has got a place, who is looking for the, let's say, library to install a robotic course or a coding course, they can contact you. So and therefore I will share in the chat first your website, www.mindsinaction.com. Oops, now the NA is missing. I don't know where this is gone. .com.na, and I also shared a YouTube site where you explained the Lego, the 3 different steps, so that you can have a closer look what the courses are about, the different modules. Okay. So last questions to our listeners. Is there maybe some Q&A sessions, questions that the Daudika and Andreas can answer?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, but you're not alone. And
Well, I was just answering for myself.
Okay, good. Then I think I can close the session for today. And I thank you very much, Andreas and Daudika, for your for being here and explaining and